We are coming to you live via Facebook streaming, via YouTube streaming, and also via Skype online. Each one of you is welcome to this live streaming. Sutras of Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, technique number 20. Entering the inner center. Entering the inner center. This technique is basically the same as the 19th technique. Accordingly, sit on buttocks without the support of hand or feet. It is basically the same but with a slight difference. These techniques were developed at a time when the transport system was still ancient. People used bullock carts and other kind of carts for moving from one place to another. The sutra says, in a moving vehicle, by rhythmically swaying experience, or in a still vehicle, by letting yourself sway in slowing invisible circles. Two things. If you are in a moving vehicle, then sway rhythmically. Or if you are in a still vehicle, then swing slowly in visible circles. It is the same technique with a slight difference. These techniques were developed when there was only bullock carts as the means of transport. You are moving in a bullock cart on the road that is not good. When you are moving, your whole body is moving, then it is useless. In a moving vehicle, when you sway rhythmically, the emphasis is on the word sway rhythmically. Try to understand this. This very minute, when you are in a cart or any other vehicle, you are resisting any movement. The bullock cart sways to the left and you resist it. You sway to the right in order to balance, otherwise you will fall down. So you are constantly resisting. Sitting in a bullock cart, you are fighting its movements. It moves to this side, you try to move to the other side. That is why while sitting in a train, you become tired. You have not been doing anything. Why do you get so tired? You have been doing much unknowingly. You were fighting the train continuously. There was resistance. Do not resist. This is the first thing. If you want to understand this technique or do it, do not resist. Rather move with the movements. Sway with the movements. Become part of the vehicle. Do not resist. Whatsoever the cart is doing on the road, become part of it. That is why children are never tired of journeying. Only the adult get tired of journeying. Someone said that you become tired of the long journeys. If you take a drunkard and let him sit down in the cart for the whole night, and in the morning he will be as fresh as ever, but you will not be, because the person is drunk, and because of that he cannot resist. He moves with the cart. There is no fight. The fighting is not there. He is one with it. So the sutra says, in a moving vehicle, by rhythmically swaying. So do one thing, and the thing that you have to do is do not resist. And the second thing is this: create a rhythm. Create a rhythm in your movements. Make it harmonious. Forget about the road. Do not curse the road or the government. Forget about them. Forget. Close your eyes. Do not resist. Move rhythmically and create a music in your movement. Make it a musically rhythmic. Make it as if it is a dance. In a moving vehicle, by rhythmically swaying, experience. The sutra says the experience will come to you when you are swaying in a rhythmic movement. There is a problem in you. The body is shaking. You resist, and in resisting, you become tired. If you do not resist, instead become conscious of it, make it a rhythmic movement, a dance, the tiredness will not be there, and you will be transformed in this way. The sutra says, or in a still vehicle, do not ask where to get a cart. Do not deceive yourself. In a still vehicle, by letting yourself sway in slowing invisible circles, just sit there, swing in circles. First take a big circle, then go on slowing the circles, slowing and slowing, making it smaller and smaller until your body is not visibly moving, but inside you will feel a subtle movement. Start with a bigger circle. This is one of the way. You will ask, should I do it clockwise or anti-clockwise? It is always good to do things clockwise. Start with a bigger circle with closed eyes. Otherwise the body will stop and stop. And body will stop, and with that you will stop. Then with closed eyes, make a big circles, just sitting, swaying in a circle. Go on swaying, making the circle smaller and smaller. Visibly, you will stop, but no one will be able to detect that you are still moving. But inside, you feel a very subtle movement. Now the body is not moving, only the mind. Go on making it slower and slower and experience. That will become a centering. In a vehicle, in a moving vehicle, do not resist the rhythmic movement, and it will create centering within you. And in a still vehicle, start with a circle big and then go on slowing. Centering will happen. Gurdjieff created many dances for such techniques. That is the sacred dances of Gurdjieff. He was working on this technique. All the dances he was using in his school were really swaying in circles. All the dances were in circles, just whirling. Whirling is also a part of swaying, but in a rhythmic movement. Just whirling, but remaining aware within, by and by, making the circle smaller and smaller. A time comes when the body stops, but the mind is inside, goes on moving and moving. If you have been traveling in a train for 20 hours, after you have come home, you have left the train. If you close your eyes, you will still feel that you are traveling. Still you are traveling. The body has stopped, but the mind is still feeling the movement of the train. So just do this technique. Gurdjieff created a phenomenal dance, very beautiful. In this century, he worked miracles. Not miracles like Sai Baba. Those are not miracles. But Gurdjieff really created miracles. He prepared a group of 100 people for meditative dancing, and he was showing that dance to an audience in New York for the first time. 100 dancers were on the stage whirling. Those who were in the audience, even their mind began to whirl. There were 100 white robe dancers like whirling. When he indicated with his hand, they would whirl, and the moment he would say stop, there would be a dead silence. That was a stop for the audience, but not for the dancers. because the body can stop immediately, but the mind takes a few moments inside. It goes on and on. It was beautiful even to look at, because 100% suddenly become dead statues. It created a sudden shock in audiences as well, because 100 movements, beautiful movements, rhythmical movements suddenly stopped. You would be looking at them moving, whirling, dancing, and suddenly the dancers stopped. Then your thought will also stop. Many in New York felt that this was a weird phenomenon. Their thoughts stopped immediately. But for the dancers, the dance continued inside. And inside, whirling circles became smaller and smaller until they became centered. One day it happened that they were coming just to the edge of the stage, dancing. It was expected, supposed, that Gurdjieff would stop them just before they danced down the stage onto the audience. 100 dancers just on the edge of the stage. One step more, they would fall down into the hall. The whole hall was expecting that suddenly Gurdjieff would say stop. But he turned his back to light his cigar. He turned his back to the dancers to light his cigar, and the whole group of 100 dancers fell down from the stage on the floor, on a naked, bare stone floor. The whole audience stood up. They were screaming, shouting, and they were thinking that many might have broken their bones. It was such a crash, but not even a single person was hurt. Not even a single person was bruised there. They asked Gurdjieff what had happened. No one had been hurt. The crash was such that it would seem impossible. The reason was only this: they were really not in their bodies at that moment. They were slowing down their inner circles, and when Gurdjieff saw that now they were completely oblivious of their bodies, completely oblivious of the body, Gurdjieff allowed them to fall down. If you are completely oblivious of your body, there is no resistance. A bone is broken only because there is resistance. If you are falling down, you resist. You go against the pull of the gravity, because it is the gravity that is pulling you, but you are going against that. That going against that resistance creates a problem, not the gravity. You can fall down with gravity if you can cooperate with it. Then there is no possibility of being hurt at all. The sutra says, in a moving vehicle, by rhythmically swaying experience, or in a still vehicle, by letting yourself swing in slowly invisible circles, you can do it. There is no need of a vehicle. You are sitting on the chair. Just do like children. When your mind goes crazy and you feel that now you will fall down, do not stop. Go on. Even if you fall down, do not worry about it. Close your eyes and world. Your mind will get whirled and you will fall down. When your body has fallen down, inside feel the whirling will continue and it will come nearer and nearer and nearer, and suddenly you will be centered. Suddenly you will be centered. Children enjoy this very much because they get a great kick. Parents never allow their children to whirl. It is not good. They should be allowed, rather encouraged. And if you can make them aware of inner whirling also, you can teach them meditation through this whirling. They enjoy it because they have the feeling of bodilessness. When they whirl, suddenly children become aware that their body is whirling, but they are not. Inside they feel a kind of centering which we cannot feel so easily, because their bodies and the souls are still a bit apart and there is a gap. When you come into your mother's womb, you cannot immediately get totally in the body. It takes time. When a child is born, then too he is not absolutely fixed. His soul is not absolutely fixed to the body. There is a gap. That is why there are so many things which he cannot do. His body is ready to do it, but he cannot do it. If you have observed, you may have noticed that newly born children cannot see with two eyes. They always see with one eye. If you observe, then you will see that when they observe and see anything, they cannot see with two eyes. They always look with one eye getting bigger. The people of one eye will become bigger and that of the other will remain small. The consciousness of a newly born child is not yet fixed. By and by it will get fixed. And then they will look with the two eyes. They cannot yet feel their own body and other bodies as different. It is difficult. They are not yet fixed, but fixation comes by and by. Meditation is again trying to create a gap. You have become fixed, solidly fixed in your body. That is why you feel, I am the body. If a gap is created, then only you can feel that you are not the body, but something beyond the body. Swaying and whirling is helpful. They create a gap. Do this technique. You do not need to be in a vehicle, but use an opportunity when you are in a vehicle. In a moving vehicle, sway in a rhythmic movement. with your closed eyes, and suddenly you will see the body will stop, but the inner movement will continue. You are sitting on your chair. Sometimes it is observed. When you are sitting on your chair for a little longer time, unconsciously you do these movements. These are very relaxing. So only this much for this morning, until we take the next week, the technique number 21. Until then, take care and do have a pleasant day.